Hyundai has been making waves when it comes to electric vehicles. The IONIQ 5 is really popular and you can't ignore Hyundai because of its EV production. But this is the latest Hyundai. This is the IONIQ 6. It's beautiful and it's a saloon, but we're so new to seeing this car that we can't drive it. But stay with us because we're going to preview this on WhichEV. Before we get to the details on the IONIQ 6, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. So this is the brand new IONIQ 6. It's so brand new, we've not really had time to gen up on it, but we are here and we're going to look at it. My first impression is this: it is gorgeous. This colour, it just changes every time you get near it. It goes from a purple to a black to a blue to a green. It's gorgeous, this colour. But look at the front of this as well. Look at these lights here, beautiful. You've got this sort of coupe stroke saloon shape. It is actually a saloon. It's a four-door saloon. But it's these wing mirrors. They're not actual wing mirrors. These are screens inside the car, so you get a digital image projected to you when you're inside the car. More on that later though. And as you can see, this IONIQ 6 is covered in chromatic paint, so it's the kind of colour that changes depending on where you stand. It's the rear of this IONIQ 6 that really does it for me, and I think it'll do it for a lot of other people. The jury's out. Is it really reminding you of a Porsche Panamera or maybe even a Mercedes-Benz CLS? Well, I don't know, but it's just gorgeous. Look at this. This is a saloon through and through. You could almost say it was a coupe, really. You've got the boot here as well. That means it's a very practical car, but it's sleek and it's gorgeous. And do you know what I love about this car? It's not an SUV for a change. The IONIQ 6 comes with two different sizes of battery, 53 and 77.4 kilowatt hour. Now, this car also comes with rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. This particular model is all-wheel drive. The top dual motor version comes with 324 horsepower, but we don't know which version is coming to the UK yet. It's worth remembering that if you actually had a key fob with you, these door handles would present themselves to you. We don't, because this is a production car in a photographic studio. It doesn't matter how you get into the car though, because it's a gorgeous interior. The cabin, once you sit behind the wheel, is very, very similar to the IONIQ 5 SUV. The only real difference between this IONIQ 6 and that one is that this is a fixed center console. The SUV tends to have a sliding one. But what a gorgeous, roomy interior. And these colors, straight away, they just hit you. A very striking cabin indeed. And you may have noticed, but we don't have traditional wing mirrors on this car. Instead, you have cameras and they project an image to a screen there and a screen here. So we've come into this IONIQ 6 pretty cold. This is a preview, remember, but my first impressions are, wow, what a practical cabin. There's the key fob, by the way. This is good for 2 cups. Very handy. Got a USB slot there. You've got phone charger there, wireless. You've got the electric windows, locking, auto hold for the handbrake. You can turn the child locks on here as well. It's very simple. And then of course you've got this. It's a cubby. You've got 2 more USB slots in there. So both the passenger and the driver's seat are fully adjustable. You see here all these electric switches. You've got really good lumbar support. Well, that's good. I like that. So very easy to get a comfortable driving position. Speaking of which, we won't be driving this because it is, as we say, a preview only. This is really handy as well. So if your front seat passengers are annoying you, or you just don't have anyone there and you need to have a clearer view of the side, you can adjust it yourself using these buttons. Very clever. You've also got a sunroof, which is always lovely. One press and the cover retracts. Beautiful. I keep saying beautiful, but it is. Even though I'm not driving this car today, I can tell you straight away it's got a beautiful leather steering wheel. Reminds me of being a kid when I used to go and sit in my grandfather's car and just imagine I was driving it. It's frustrating we can't drive this car because I really, really want to. But first impressions are this front is spacious, well laid out, and it just screams luxury. So what's the back like then? Well, bearing in mind, I was sitting in there just a minute ago at 6 foot tall. Here I am, haven't moved the seat. Look at all that space between my knees and the back of the front seat there. Headroom, maybe not so generous, but my scalp is not brushing the headliner, so you can get away with it. 2 adults will be very comfortable in the back here, but you can get a third one in on this centre bit. This would actually make quite a good chauffeur car, great for 2 people, especially with this. Look at this, you've got the 2 cup holders here, very comfortable armrest. It really does give an impression of luxury, this car. It's on the premium end. I've not known a Hyundai this well kitted out inside. It's gorgeous, I just want to drive it. So unlike the IONIQ 5, these are far more traditionally placed in the middle. Very, very easy to adjust. And you've got these 2 USB slots handily underneath. Hyundai's thought of everything. Rear seat passengers can warm their backsides using these switches here. Very useful indeed. And of course you've got ISOFIX points here on the 2 outer rear seats when you want to take your tops along for the ride. So here we are at the boot end. It is gorgeous. I just can't help thinking that's my favourite bit about the whole car. But anyway, practicality. There we are, automatic opening tailgate. We have a very handy boot, but I'm not really sure the size because this is a sort of pre-production car. We don't really know the capacity, but it looks big enough because look, we've got these handy levers here that are meant to fold the seats, and you've got this here, which is a little bit not quite in keeping with the quality of the car, a little bit flimsy this, but anyway, you've still got more room under here, look, to keep the charging cable and anything else you want. So you can extend the IONIQ 6's boot by pulling the levers, and you get this kind of strange kind of shaped opening. It's not completely flat, but there's certainly enough room for 2 or 3 large suitcases. And of course you can open it all the way like that, making it a pretty practical car when it comes to 4-door saloons. This car can do up to 379 miles of range with the bigger battery. That's slightly more than the Tesla Model 3 long range. You've got a CCS port here. You can use the same 350 kilowatt fast chargers as the IONIQ 5, meaning you can boost the battery from 10 to 80% in just under 20 minutes. The IONIQ 6 has also got vehicle to load, which means using a special adapter, you can plug it in and you can charge things up. For instance, if you have a power cut at home, this could be your power source for those few minutes until the electricity comes back on again. So it does seem a little strange talking sort of about the steering wheel and the dashboard when we're not driving it, but we've got this car, so we might as well make the most of it. So we can't drive the IONIQ 6 because this is a preview, but we can have a good look round. Look at that, beautiful, the way it all lights up in purple. It's all very clearly laid out here. You've got the navigation, you've got the media, you've got air conditioning, all sorts of things on here, and of course you hit home and you can see the range, how much percentage you have left, nearby electric vehicle charging stations. But what I do like about this is you can see quite clearly how to change the temperature. It's not all buried within the touch screen. And you've got parking sensors here as well. Got camera. It's very useful. Unusually for Hyundai when it comes to electric vehicles, you haven't got all the gear selector gubbins going on down here. You've got it here instead. For want of a better word, this great big knob here. You've got drive, neutral, park and reverse. It comes to hand very easily indeed. And this steering wheel, it's thick, it feels good in the hand. You've also got the drive mode here, look. So you can go from eco, normal, sport, all says it there. You've even got snow mode. And down here you've got this little cluster of buttons, and you've got the sort of traditional electric mirror switch here. So you can go to the left mirror and adjust it, but of course you can close it as well like that too. This is great because look, you can adjust the field of view. So you may have noticed this rather large screen. Well, you know what? It's not one large screen, it's 2 12-inch screens. One for all the driver's information and one here for the navigation and range and media. It's really well laid out. So even though I can't drive this car, we might as well tell you that if you go for the dual motor version of the IONIQ 6, you can expect this to get to 60 miles an hour in 5.1 seconds. That's just slightly faster than the BMW i4 eDrive 40. However, it's not quite as quick as a Tesla Model 3 long range. This car's absolutely jam-packed with safety kit, but you can read more about that in the written review below. So what's our conclusion about the IONIQ 6? Well, the conclusion is there isn't a conclusion because we haven't been with this car long enough to know all about it. All we know is that we can't wait to drive it, and you can expect to see the IONIQ 6 on Britain's roads at the end of 2022/early 2023. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.